And we are live with another episode of Let's Talk Broncos with host Kurt Valenti. Good evening, Mr. Valenti. How are you?
I am very well. How are you, Mrs. Valenti?
I'm doing well as well. Thank you. And welcome to another installment of your Let's Talk Bronco show. Fresh off of an episode of K&K earlier this evening.
Yeah, great show we did with the boys. We made our Super Bowl picks. We made our weekends wild card picks. And listen, huge sports news today, right, Jen? We said, oh, the breaking news: Pete Carroll's out. Nope, not when we were. Then we were listening to our Bronco radio. I'm saying we, like I was listening to Bronco radio, and all of a sudden I said, Jen, did you hear that? Saban retired. And you're like, no, and I said, yep. So little breaking news: two great coaches. You know uh, Probably the best ever in college football and Saban. But it's gonna be, we're gonna see who gets that job, who gets offered that job. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it is you like you said the Pete Carroll news was kind of big news. He got completely overshadowed. He had about a minute. Maybe that's better for him. Maybe that's better for him. But tonight we are going to jump into a little obviously some Broncos talk, but we've got what you call it. We have just some other K&K shows I want to remind your audience about. K&K's regular show Wednesday evenings. You're on 8 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow you guys return for Wits and Wagers, and your co-hosts Kenny and Paul will be doing a giant show on Saturday morning. Clams and Claws return for a little updated wagering information ahead of the weekend of sports. And Scoops does What's the Scoop with Scoops on Saturday evening as well. Our all in slate of shows, we return to our Tuesday evenings. You and I do our high school podcast, and we will be getting our Kearney specific, our St. Mary's High School specific up and running, and Soar, New Jersey with Sandy Seegers as well. So full slate of shows coming back at you for 2024.
Yeah, full slate. And listen, you do a great job. Obviously, you do a great job producing this and with the all in, and everybody does a great job. So I'm pumped up. K&K's, K&K all in, the Bronco show, the Giant show. You know, what's the scoops, and Wits and Wages, Carson and Clans. All we're growing. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, 100%. We got some people checking in. Jeremy Dresser. I don't know if I'm missing Keith Brugmans, but he
Hey, no, that
replied
was. I think that was from our prior
earlier.
show. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Sorry
okay.
about that.
And then Michael saying good evening, Kurt.
What's up,
Trevor
Michael?
Trevor Salzman checking in about Pete Carroll, saying he won't be done coaching. Seattle needed a change of scenery. They aren't firing Carroll without having their next head coach in
Very
mind.
true. What's up, Trevor?
Maybe Pete and Russ will they
Oh my
parted
God.
separate ways. It didn't go well for either of them.
Can you
Um
imagine that?
and then Jody saying, Kurt, if Denver decides to get a bridge quarterback, who do you want? And he did sit him with the little puking emojis.
Oh God. Oh, I don't even want to think. We're going to talk about that in a second. No, 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 no. You know what? I'm going to say this about Stidham, Jen. I'm going to tell you, we'll get right out of the gate with this. I don't even want him as the backup next year. I seen enough. I'm going to be honest. He can't, when you're saying you want to be a competitive team and you want to compete for like a division play, he can't get it done. No way. I'm sorry. I just saw enough. He's a career backup, but I don't even know. Like I don't want him like in a 4-game window. So no, no way.
We have Kenny checking in as well, saying hello. He originally didn't get a notification, but it's there. Could be because we accidentally went live twice, so maybe
Yeah,
that threw a
we
little
are live.
threw a little delay in possibly. So, but let's start up. We got Trevor saying Russ back to Seattle with Quinn. Now that would be
It
something.
would.
LOL.
It would. And
Yeah.
then Jen, you want to just read Keith's comment? I want to mention something about those guys real quick.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Here's Keith checking in officially evening to my good friend Kurt.
Guys, I want to say Keith, Trevor, Jody, and Albert, Denver Bronco Roundup, 10 o'clock. I'm sorry, Tuesday. They usually go on like 9 o'clock, like our time. So that's what, like that's in the 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Yeah.
7 o'clock. I still get confused from Hawaii time. So I still can't figure it out. But I know it's like 9. Sometimes it'll be a little later. But in our time, it is an unbelievable, great show. They do an unbelievable job over there. Again, Denver Bronco Roundup, Keith, Jody, Albert, and Trevor. They had a guest on last night. Unbelievable. Talking about guest gen, I want to give a shout out to James Marilat for last week. Unbelievable. Awesome job by James. And listen, he's been on a bunch of shows this week. I watched every one of them. And I'm a huge James Marilat fan, and I want to thank him and hopefully bring him back on again soon.
All right, we got Pearl checking in. She said she was running late grooming Monty, and
What's up,
Michael
Pearl?
saying everyone's here now. He's saying
Let's
so.
go. Let's
All
go.
right, so
Let's go. There's
let's
the clap.
officially get
Let's go.
started. On Tuesday, Sean Payton, George Payton, and Greg Penner had their end of season press conference. What were your takeaways from that?
There was a couple takeaways, right? Like, first off, I thought it was pretty cool that all three of them did talk. Usually, a lot of times it's just head coach, right? But this is a little different situation. It's a different dynamic we got going on here this year with the whole Russ thing and what happened with who talked to him after the Kansas City game. And first and foremost, I loved that Greg Penner spoke. This is Greg Penner's team, and I think I kind of got the feeling that everything's still going to run through Greg Penner, right? He is going to let his guys do their job, right? He's not going to be hands-on and everything. Like he said, hey, I'm new to all this, but there's still going to be, everything is still going to have to go through him, which I believe that's the way it should be. You don't give full control to one person. I don't care who you are. You don't have full control. Nobody should have of a franchise. Not when you're dealing with, again, billions of dollars. A coach is going to coach. He wants to have some say. That's fine. GM's going to do that, but there's going to be no, hey, we made a trade. No. Run especially that decision by Greg Penner. So Greg Penner is in charge. He is the number one guy for this franchise. He is in charge, and I love it. Number two, Sean Payton, I'm going to be honest. It's the most I've seen Sean Payton humbled ever as a Bronco coach. And I think what humbled him, and we're going to get into it, Jen, is the last 2 weeks, right? What he did was a huge risk, okay? And he put, I'm not going to say he put his coaching career on the line. I mean, it's 2 games and everything, but, he made a big stink about taking a Hall of Fame quarterback, a Super Bowl champion quarterback, and benching him to play Jarrett Stidham in his system, right? Handpicked quarterback to run his system. It failed miserably, right? The last week was an absolute debacle in Vegas on the road. At home against the Chargers, they had the second lowest output they had all year. So that failed. And he's on the clock now. And I think, I listened to a bunch of guys say, I think it was Eric Goodman. There's so many good shows in the Denver area, Jen. And, he may need Russell Wilson. He may need Russell Wilson because the biggest thing I came out yesterday, Jen, was a quote from Penner where he said, we improved. We won 8 games. But you ready for this, Jen? I expect more wins next year. So more than 8 is 9, right? 9, 10, 11, and 12. Am I correct, Jen?
Yeah, yes, you are correct with your math.
If you win 4, that's not more for Mr. Penner, correct?
Are you predicting that there could be a Sean Payton stays and Russell Wilson stays?
Yes, I am. And we'll get to that in a second. But what I'm saying is, Penner put it out there. He expects more than 8 wins. And Sean Payton knows that's not happened with Jarrett Stidham. He knows it. He has egg on his face from the past 2 weeks. It was bad. It was ugly. It wasn't good. And that's not going to happen. He will not be the starting quarterback this year for the Broncos.
Well, let me catch up on a few comments here, if you don't mind, Kurt. We have Albert checking in, saying hello, Kurt, and all Broncos fans, and hello to me as well. We have Mark Kurt Calderio checking in, saying hello.
Congratulations, Mark, on your national championship. Huge Michigan Wolverine fan.
All right, and I'm gonna go with I'm gonna give you. I kind of kept it because this might be a nice segue into your next topic. I'm just scrolling back up to find Kenny's comment here. Okay, here it is. He said, "Kurt, I'm just going to come out and ask it. Drew Lock, if Russ is going to bring you Drew Lock, if Russ is going, I'm not sure. I think he's saying, would you bring Drew Lock back to the Broncos to
Yeah.
start?
You know what? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, over Stidham, yes. Over Jacoby Brissett, yes. Over Jimmy Garoppolo, yes. Over Gardner Minshew, yes. Over all that garbage, yes. Yeah. Because again,
Al-
go ahead.
Albert Knoppers, I would take him back. Pearl's agreeing as well. They all would.
Yeah, because you know what? I haven't seen it in a full year with a competent coach, right? I didn't see it. Never got a fair shake here. I saw the Jacoby Brissett not winning. I saw the Garoppolo not winning. I saw the Stidham. We saw that. That just toss that out. Here, Kenny, this is for you. This is for you, Kenny. I got to do it for Kenny. I know he loves it. Stidham as the starting quarterback next year. Toss it out. That's over. That's done. Two and out. Seen enough. Anybody who wants Jarrett Stidham as a starting quarterback, they're out of their minds. Out of their minds. Imagine, we talked about it with Merrill last week. Imagine Jen 17 weeks of that next year. Can you imagine that? You watched it with me on Sunday. What did you think?
Of the Jared Stidham offense?
Yeah, of the Jarrett Stidham offense.
Very disappointing.
Very disappointing. Horrible. Throwing behind people. Just terrible. Terrible.
All right. Well, let's roll in then to.
Well, let me get back to one more thing.
All right.
You know, I saw a different Sean Payton, and I think now there's pressure on Sean Payton. When I mean, I don't even mean to win. I mean to make a quarterback decision here. Okay, his job is going to depend on this decision. Flat out from the owner, I expect more than 8 wins. So you're not going backwards. We're not going to do what some of these people here want to do. We're going to win 3 games, and that's not happening with Greg Penner. It's not. If you want that to happen, go become an Arizona Cardinal fan, because it's not going to happen here. If it happens, Sean Payton will be gone. That's it. And I love it. I love that mentality, because if he gets rid of a quarterback that, again, they were 7-7 with them. Again, it should have been more. I mean, whatever. You're getting rid of that. You better bring somebody in that's going to go, whoop. And I don't mean by stat. I mean wins. AFC West. Let's go. AFC West playoffs. Stidham ain't doing it. So I love that the pressure's on him. And I saw a humble Sean Payton yesterday. And again, this is why we're going to get back with Russ, because is he now thinking that Russ is the best option? I think he does.
Interesting. Well, again, Trevor's disagreeing. He wouldn't want to bring him back. He's saying Peyton's offense is worrisome. We've seen that with his guy, Stidham.
You know, again, I'm not, am I a Sean Payton fan? I see a comment from Keith, right? Listen, I've always, and I'm going to say this, Jen, we need Sean Payton. You know why we need Sean Payton? Because if Harbaugh goes to the Chargers in our division, you're going to have Harbaugh, Andy Reid. Okay. And that's whatever else Vegas does. Say they bring, there's rumors, John Gruden, and who knows how that, but Jonathan Gannon ain't going to beat those guys. We need Sean Payton like that. But on the other hand, you're going to also have Mahomes. You're also going to have Herbert, right? You're going to have the Raiders are going to do something different. You're not going in there and saying Jarrett Stidham. I mean, no. So we better pray. We all as Bronco fans better say a prayer tonight. Pray to whoever you pray to, that Sean Payton and Russell Wilson go like this. Because if it's not good. Because I'm telling you right now, Jim Harbaugh is not coming in here to win 6 games. That team will be a dynamite team because of Jim Harbaugh. He is a top 2 or 3 coach in the NFL when he signs. So we need Payton and we need Russ. So let's go.
Two quarterback thoughts from listeners here. Michael saying, draft your own quarterback and stop bringing in quarterbacks from other NFL teams. And Pearl saying, there's talk about Kirk Cousins coming to the Broncos. Your thoughts on that?
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. He's one guy. I'm not 100% against it, but how are we going to pay him? We don't have money, right? We don't have the money to do that. Would I mind Kirk Cousins? I'm going to be honest. He's one because he's not a backup in this league. Kirk Cousins is not a backup. Okay. I'm not going to say he's elite. He's not, but he's not a backup. These other guys people are throwing around are backups. I saw a comment last night, Jen, where I wanted to go through the phone. This is the year of the second string quarterback. We don't play with second string quarterbacks. Who's the second string quarterback? I don't want to hear Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, if he played, is still a top quarterback in the league. Like he's a 32. Stop. We don't play with backups. You don't win with backups. Enough. How somebody in their mind could say, I want to get one of these backups as my quarterback. I mean, that's just absurd. That's like, I don't even know how do you compare that, Jen. That's like saying, I want to go out in a windstorm last night. I don't want to use an umbrella. I want to use an umbrella with no, with one spoke. I mean, why would you do that? It's not going to work. You're going to get wet. You're going to get soaked. Why would you do it? You're not going to win with these guys.
A few years ago on, the Kirk Cousins, you were ready to bring Kirk Cousins over, remember?
You know what? I was. Again,
Yep.
Listen, he is a legit quarterback, right? He's a legit NFL. He's not worth the money, but he's a legit quarterback. I'm not putting, like Kenny's saying Browning. This guy, Jake Browning, Jen, said the other day, I'm one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. Jake Browning, they should bring him in, handcuff him wherever he is in Cincinnati, bring him in, drug test him, question him. Like, what is he thinking? He's one of the top, and there's people that would say, I'll take Jake Browning. Not me. No way. I watched them in Kansas City and I watched them in Pittsburgh the week before on Thursday night. Enough. No. Back up. Sorry.
All right. So the topic is, should Russ be back and what are the pros and cons to keeping Russ? But before we get to that, Kenny wants to know, do you think Russ would restructure his contract to make it work?
You know what I would do, Jen? Am I a big Russ guy? Okay. I'm
a
huge Russ guy. And you know what? Did the Broncos give him that contract? Okay. But you know what? Stuff changes. Stuff happens. And you know what? It wasn't Sean Payton. It wasn't this whole regime here, this whole thing. So you know what? Stuff does change. Okay? So you know what I'm doing to Russ? Here's what I'm doing to Russ. Flat out. You're not going anywhere. Okay? You're not going anywhere. So here's your options. And you know what? We want to work it out with you. But we need you to redo your contract for a couple of things. One, listen, you haven't lived up to expectations. He hasn't been worth the money. But again, a lot of people haven't. Dak hasn't, Mahomes hasn't, Herbert hasn't. None of those guys do. But listening to Benjamin Albright last night, I think like he's on the hook for $35 million next year. You're paying like Hurts and these guys $63 million. So it's a steal of a contract compared to that. But getting back, okay, things do change. We need you to restructure. One, we need help. Okay, we've seen we can't go to where we want to go with our roster. You agree with that, Jen? Okay.
Yeah.
We need help. Peyton Manning took a pay cut in Denver. Tom Brady always took a pay cut. People take pay cuts. We need you to help us. And if you don't, this isn't a threat. You're not going to play for the Steelers. You're not going to play for the Falcons. You're not going to play for the Raiders. You know what you're going to do? You're going to compete for the job. And if you lose the job, you know what you're going to do? You're going to be our backup. So you're not going to go and play for the Steelers for $1 million. I'm not doing that for you. I'm not helping you. We want to work.
Can I ask you something though? He's got the no trade
right.
clause,
Right. But I'm saying he wants us to. Well, in reality, it would be better just to release him, and then he goes wherever he wants for $1 million. I'm not doing that. You know what? I'm going to prove you're going to be here. You're going to be here and you're going to earn every dollar that way. If you don't want to work with us, we're not going to threaten the bench. We're not, that was wrong. And
But your whole scenario, I just have to disagree because your whole scenario really is a threat. And
well,
what is he going to do? I mean, he could just say
okay.
no and then just stay, and they
Right,
still have to pay him.
but I'm saying is then you're just not going to be the start. You're not going to be given the starter job. We're going to bring in competition for you.
Listen, that happened to him the last
Right,
2
but we're going to bring.
weeks.
I mean, we're going to bring in.
And
What I'm saying
he's
though
still
is
getting
we're
paid.
going to bring in a legit competition. It might be you and Kirk Cousins. Maybe it's you and But my whole point though is we need him, and it's got to be a man-to-man talk. Okay, what we did was wrong, Russ. What George Payton was wrong, but we need you. Okay. We know you're our best option. He is. He is your best. Unless, I'm going to say it one more time, unless you get Tom Brady and you want to do this, and I know there's going to be people listening, draft capital, give it all up. Go get Caleb Williams. Go get him. Go get him. If you want him, all right, don't play with, I want bonus. Go get him. So give up this year's 1, this year's 3, next year's 1. Next year's 2, the following, do it, because then there's your problem. Then it's solved. Personally, do it. I'm okay with it, but I can't have these people. Oh no, we need draft capital. We need all the draft capital. So we're going to pick whoever's at 12. You're not going to you could get JJ McCarthy at 12, and I want JJ McCarthy, but is he going to be ready from day one? No, I don't think he is. So you're not going to get these top 3 quarterbacks. If you want it all in, go get your number 1 guy. If it's Caleb, do it. Do it all. Do it. But we gotta have a legit, this is our guy. We can't be playing.
Kurt, we got Trevor saying he doesn't see Russ taking a pay cut, right? Which, and then I think Keith put up, we often talk about like how much, look at the jump in Russ's money here, right? From 24 to 25, and then you're on the hook to 2028. I feel like we don't really talk past the 2025 to really see the staggering amount, right, of just money in general. And I just feel like with your scenario, I understand what you're saying. And Kenny said there are, like Jimmy Garoppolo is on the bench and getting paid. But I don't think that threatening him is going to just make him leave at that point. Why would he want to go
it's
and
really
get,
an opt-out. It's really the 2 years is really what we're, it's really, we play for him for this year. If he plays for us this year, it's really the 2025. We can get out after the other stuff. That's not a problem. And, it gives us time. See, the problem is there's no answer right now. See, that's the problem. We don't, but by far, Russell Wilson is the best option for the Denver Broncos by far. That's the problem, or hey, Sean, you don't want him? Your rookie quarterback is playing from day one. Day one, he's playing. And if it's 3 wins, you're gone. So that's where it's kind of sticky. There's no, okay, can I get, listen, I would be for going to get Kirk. If I said to Sean Payton, do you want Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson? If he said, I want Kirk Cousins and we can do it, do it. Do it. I'm for you. But Kirk Cousins, not Jimmy Garoppolo, not Jacoby Brissett, not Tyrod Taylor, not backups, because it's not gonna work. It never does. And it never will. So that's the thing.
Well, we did kind of just roll into your next topic, which is quarterback options, with the question being, would you go with the rookie quarterback? But you know what? Before we get to that, Kurt, Michael posed you a question a little off topic, but I want to get it in here because I think it's something you'd like. It says, which running back would you like to come to the Broncos, Saquon Barkley or Jonathan Taylor in your dreams? If you had to pick, who would you
Personally,
like?
I like Saquon Barkley. I've always been a Saquon fan. I think he could do a lot of things that Kamara did with Sean Payton. He's a great receiver out of the backfield. I know Kenny probably don't want to lose him, but again, Giants don't want to pay him, and I don't really blame the Giants. You don't really pay running backs a lot of money, but yeah, I would take Saquon Barkley. And then Kenny's saying we win the division. See, I got to go back though, Jen. Like, this is the thing. Russ is the best option Okay. And you have to put the best, you have to take money aside at quarterback. You have to. You have to take money aside. We need our best option, and that is Russell Wilson. Okay. We have to go into Arrowhead and play Mahomes. You're not doing that with the band of other guys people are listing. You're just not. But you are with Russ. You did it this year. You blew Kansas City out.
I like Keith's correlation here. I kept it up here for you to say, right? Have you ever seen the movie The Money
Yep,
Pit with Tom Hanks, right? Have
I
you ever
did.
seen that movie? They keep throwing the money into the house. It's just and he's saying any correlation with Russell
But
Wilson here. And Jody Moncrief is giving you another choice here. Would you rather have Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry?
I'm still gonna go Barkley. I'll take either one, but I just, to me is there's nobody that could sit across from me. What's the game like when you stare at somebody? What is that called?
A
Like a
staring
staring contest. It's not
contest?
like I thought like I'll just do that all day long. Like somebody can't you got to convince me. You're not going to convince me Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Russ. Stidham is better than Russ. Jacoby Brissett's better. Like you're not going to convince me that because it's not true. I don't care about the money. I don't, because the money, you're paying the money anyway. That's the thing. You are paying the money. If you could trade Russ and somebody says, I'm taking the contract, then trade him. But that's not going to happen. If we could just let Russ go and his contract's on and you want Cousins, do it. But our best nobody has given me a better option than Russell Wilson. And until then, that's like, we need the best quarterback, not percentage. And I don't care. It doesn't matter. The money does not matter. Okay. Russ has to work with a little bit with Denver. Okay. And again, what Sean and those guys did was wrong. Okay. Not going up to him to restructure. See, people always think, oh, with Denver, everybody restructures. Right? If you listen, I listened to the fan the other day. Mark Schlereth said it happened to him 6 times. They basically said to him, are you going to restructure? We need you to restructure your contract. He said, no. What do you think they did to him, Jen?
Say
Mark,
that.
Mark Schlereth
Say it
said,
again.
Mark Schlereth was saying like 3 times or 4 times in his career, they said, Mark, we need you to restructure your contract.
Did he
One
say
time he said, no.
yes?
What do you think they did to him? They cut him. I
Cut
mean,
him?
that's how football works, right? So that's how football works. The part is the whole benching and all that stuff. But listen, that's football. You make mistakes with contracts. You don't think the Eagles are going to go to Jalen Hurts in a couple of years and say, we got to get out of this. Herbert, we got to get out of this. Mahomes, I mean, he's declining in front of us. We got to get out of it. Yeah, they're all going to do it. Everybody, because the contracts are off the charts.
We got Carson
What's up,
checking in,
Carson?
your K&K co-host there checking in. Kenny saying that Payton's system is complicated, so Russ in his second year would be better than a backup in their first year. Trevor saying if Payton moves off Russ, Denver won't be able to afford Cousins and the Mayfields of the world. They're going to have to sign a cheap veteran quarterback,
Right,
which I
but here's
wanted
the
to
thing,
get.
Jen.
Oh,
But here's
here
the
was
thing.
one.
Here's the thing. I did see that. I did see
Go
that from
ahead.
Benjamin Albright. But
I was
I
going to say,
did.
and also, because we're talking about quarterback
But again,
options, right?
listening
So
to this
Trevor's
show this
saying cheap
morning,
option. Joey's saying there's reporting that Peyton likes Jimmy Garoppolo.
listening to
So
this,
go ahead, Kurt.
listening to the show this morning makes a lot of sense. Sean Payton knows now, okay, or is realizing that Russ might be his best option because of he doesn't have 6 years. All these people think he's going to build it they're not. No, we are not doing that here. Okay.
Did you really think he was going to put Stidham in these 2 games and convince people that Stidham was the option? Is
No,
that
I
what you're
still
saying?
think he's still trying to play hardball with Russ. Okay, I do. Because this is the best case scenario for the Denver Broncos. The best case scenario is for Russ to restructure that deal, move that deadline, okay? And for Russ to play 2024 with the Broncos, because it's the best option for the Broncos to win. For Sean Payton, it's the best quarterback he could get. It gives the Broncos another year to say, can it work with these two? But now we have a whole year to, hey, if we do really want JJ McCarthy or one of these rookies, we have a year to get them ready. We have a next year's draft, right? Shanor Sanders and, Ewers and Beck from Georgia. We might want that. Like right now, it's like in March, this decision has to be made. Like it has to be made. So I think it's kind of a little of, I'm going to play poker with you and say, I got the balls to play Stidham. I got the balls to do it. The problem is Russ now said, you could have the balls to do it. It didn't look too damn good. So that's and Sean Payton now with the pressure that I have to win next year. I'm not going with that. What I did the last 2 weeks, that's not happening. Let's be realistic. That's not happening. So, is it where, hey, Sean has to be the big guy? Listen, what we did this year, we tried some stuff. It didn't work. I got to be better, right? You got to be better. We're going to have, their points they made this morning. He's going to have a whole year. Now, remember when Sean Payton came in, he had to get used to a new staff, a new building, a new, city, a new taking over. That's all situated. Now it's, can I really get my off, can I work with?
I would think you would want the
Right.
consistency. Yeah, I'm going to throw out Keith's comment here, right? He's saying, would you take a quarterback who has these stats in 2021, 6 wins, 2022, 4 wins, 2023, 7 wins? Now, he does go on to say these are Russ's stats. And he's saying, he's thinking a lot of any quarterback can live up to that standard. I want to give him a little disclaimer in 2022. I think you got to throw out the
2022
Nathaniel
gets thrown
Hackett
out.
here.
Everything in 20, nothing in 2022, nothing. Just it was so dysfunctional. It was like again, you could if you were to say who could be the worst coach, put the worst head coach in there to mess it up, it was Nathaniel Hackett. Just like you can't this year. Think about it. How can you go and say anything? Aren't the Jets basically doing that this year? Aren't the Jets basically saying, listen, whatever he did this year, it's Rodgers will fix it? I mean,
Right.
how that guy's they were the worst offense in football again this year. Again. So
Trevor throws out Ryan Tannehill here, right? But I like the point he makes about the Russ and Peyton relationship. Because you know what? There was damage done to that. Russ wanted Peyton, right? Russ wanted Sean Payton. And now this year I feel like, it's a rocky relationship. So even if they do decide to stay, like can they I know he's mentioning Ryan Tannehill. I'm kind of taking his comment to in another avenue here. What's it going to be like next year? Let's say they do
Jen,
stay.
again, and I heard this morning, they and again, I want to say, my God, Eric Goodman, again, Denver, Mile High Sport, but great. The best point I heard on it, they both need each other. They both need each other. Sean Payton knows. He knows again. Unless you're somehow getting Kirk Cousins or somehow getting Caleb Williams and trading all your assets, everything for the next 3 years, or getting Tom Brady. Russell Wilson is the best quarterback that's out there. So he needs that. He knows it. And Russell Wilson, you know what? Doesn't, let's be honest. He don't want to go to another team, right? I had to go to another team. I got to play, he's still going to play for Sean Payton. And Sean Payton still is, listen, he wasn't great offensively this year, but he's still a great head coach. And, I think they're both, they're both going to realize the best bet for both of them is Russ, stay in Denver, do what you did here. Don't get your image and all that stuff, go to another team and everything like that. And Sean Payton, basically Greg Penner put him on the block by saying, I expect more wins next year to know it's only going to happen with Russell Wilson. They're not going to win more games with somebody else. So that's where I'm going.
Kurt, I want to read three
Sure.
comments I want you kind of group these together. All right. The first one is from David Slade checking in. Hi, David. He's saying excuses. That's all he's hearing, right? The next one to kind of counteract that is Michael's a second chance, another with one more time, right? A second chance, like again with that consistency, and then Keith Brugman kind of counteracting that again. How does he get a pass, right? He came in 2022 with all his let's ride. He was out of shape, right? He had a lot of things. You know what? And I just feel like those all, in retrospect, those all were mistakes,
You know
right?
what?
Like
Yeah,
it
you
didn't
know what?
work.
That was on Russ. That was 100% on Russ. And you know what? He does have to take
Ownership,
responsibility and
yeah.
ownership for that. But I'm not saying how he looked. I mean, I'm sorry. You know what? I will say this again. As an NFL quarterback, you either have it or you don't. It's just that's the way, right? Mahomes got it, right? Josh Allen got it, right? Jared Stidham don't. You don't. What quarterback don't got it? Don't got it. Don't got it. All of a sudden, I got it. It doesn't. No, Brady got it. Elway got like those guys. Just you got it. Russ got it. You want that gene. Hey, I will go into any game in any stadium with Russell Wilson. I have a shot to win. I have zero shot to win with Jared Stidham. Zero. Zero shot to win with Teddy Bridgewater. You saw Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, we watched the game. Remember a couple years ago with Fangio. You're not gonna win. It's a joke. The Chiefs don't even play you. It's a joke because you got it or you don't. It's that gene. It's that what makes that quarterback great. That's what I'm saying. That's what it is. You don't develop it. You don't. I'm gonna get better in it. No, doesn't work like that.
You know, one of your viewers, Kurt, a couple weeks ago, kept saying, "We need to be patient. We got to get. We're expecting too much right away." And I was always in agreement with that. And I feel like things started to happen in a positive way. And we talked about, like, is it going to sustain? And I feel like as soon as things went like a little south,
Right.
everybody wanted to jump ship again. I feel like what
Jen, was
we're
it a perfect
we need to be a
marriage?
little more
No.
realistic with just with coaches and quarterbacks in general, like
Right.
giving them time. And I
Right.
just, yeah.
It's you look at it, right, and you say, was it the perfect marriage? Was it? No, it wasn't. But I know Jody says this 100 times. Drew Brees in his first year with Sean Payton wasn't good. Now I'm not going to come. Listen, Drew Brees is a one-time great. First off, I said if Drew Brees was in the NFL today, he would hands down be the best quarterback in football. No one would even be close to him. But he's not. And you're not going to get another Drew Brees, right? But was the relationship, was the marriage great? No. Did they do good things together? Yeah. Watch the films. Watch it. Did Sean Payton 100% go all in and devise the offense around Russ? No. Right? Did Russ, run into some sacks? And yeah, I mean, that's stuff that, they have to work together in it. But the question, but the thing is that, when you don't have, you talk about Russ should get a second chance, right, Jen? Somebody said,
Hmm.
let me ask you. So, Sean Payton, right? So Sean Payton, like I said, went all in. All right, I'm giving you my my guy I groomed was Stidham. My guy I went to get was Stidham. It looked like garbage in 2 weeks. Garbage. Garbage. That experiment is over. That's over. And he knows that's over. Greg Penner knows that's over. That will not happen. You might not even see him on the roster. That's done. So, you know, as Sean Payton's a smart guy, he knows that experiment failed. I can't do that. I'm not winning with that. So him and Russ again, Kirk Cousins, sign up for it. Tom Brady, I'll sign up for it. Caleb Williams, give it all up. Give it all up and go get him. You're number one guy on the board. If it's Drake May, if it's Jalen Daniels, but it's going to be Caleb Williams. Go do it. Number one this year, number three this year, 1, 2, and 3 next year. A 1 and 2. Do it. I'm for it. Go do it if that's your guy, because he's got one guy. Sean Payton has one quarterback to get right with. If he leaves Russ, he's got one quarterback. If that quarterback fails and fails fast, he will be gone as the Denver Bronco head coach, and he should be gone as the Denver Bronco head coach because you know what I'm saying? But again, best solution, the best person to be the quarterback next year is Russell Wilson. You want to draft a rookie? Go draft a rookie. I'm all for JJ McCarthy. Jen, I said it on K&K. Aren't you worried about me with JJ McCarthy? Explain why to the audience.
Oh, you really want me to explain
Yeah,
why?
explain it.
The
I
the
told
com
Kenny and those guys.
the comment you said? Why I'm concerned?
Yeah,
When you called him sexy? That one?
this guy, look at this guy, man. Beautiful. Oh my God. Wouldn't he look? No, I said, wouldn't he look sexy in the orange and blue? I want JJ McCarthy. Guy's a winner. 27-1 national championship. He's in a real pro offense. He understands how it works. You run it, play action. That's how you win in football, right? Everybody. You got to throw it for 300 yards, but you got to throw it for 300 yards. Washington threw it for 300 yards the other night, Jen. They threw it for 300 yards and they got run right out of the building. You don't win like that. You win. You can't win throwing for 160 yards. No, you're right.
There's Jody again. It's Russ or JJ McCarthy.
Let
Wait
me
a minute. I have to put Pearl's comment up here, Kurt, because we just talked about this. Well, similar. We said you missed the boat with little Shanahan, right? Here's Pearl's comment. Oh, to have Mike Shanahan again.
listen, Pearl. I will take a week off of work. We'll travel down, get him, speak to him, go to Shanahan Steakhouse. What a great steakhouse, right? We'll get him and beg him. I would get on my knees, coach. Please come back. He would be the best coach in the NFL today, next to Kyle. I mean, he would be him one, Kyle two. That would be 1-2. But people said you can't win. You can't win throwing for 160 yards. No, they're right. JJ McCarthy threw for 140, 10 for 18. Penix, 27 for 51, 255. You don't win like that. You win running the ball, play defense, play action, making your shots. So, again, my scenario, give me Russ. One more year, move this deadline down. Russ, give me JJ McCarthy. And hey, if I'm going to play the whole Aaron Rodgers / Jordan Love to you, right? Because remember, what did they do? They drafted the first round quarterback, Aaron. If you're not playing well, Jordan's playing. And what did Rodgers do to him? F you, MVP, MVP. You can't take an MVP out, right? Can you, Jen? Can you?
You shouldn't. Could you?
No,
Yes, but you
they
shouldn't.
couldn't. They couldn't do it. And you know what? Jordan Love sat there. He learned, and Green Bay kept staying in the Super Bowl window. So listen, Russ, you're playing until things aren't working. We're not winning. And hey, JJ comes in. That's how you do it.
Keith saying this is how he's leaning. I'm surprised. I didn't think he would say this. Russ under contract for 2 years. Take Bo Nix in the second round after you trade out of the 12th pick.
100%. I'm a Bo Nix guy. I love Bo Nix.
Yep. Jody just said, "What about your boy Bo Nix?"
I
Yep.
love
Yep.
Bo Nix. And you know what? I think Payton and Bo Nix would be good. Again, you're not going to put Bo Nix this year, though, and he's going to play. Like, you can't expect him to do that. I mean, listen, he's a veteran guy. He's been, what was he, 5 years he had? It's like, think
Yes.
about it, Jen. We knew
He's
each
a
other.
journeyman in college.
Right. We knew each other, what, 2018? I mean, he's been since 2018 in college. So,
He definitely benefited from that extra COVID year for sure. Yeah.
right. But see, that's the thing that Alex is saying. Like that, is he going to be there in round 2? You
Right.
might have to trade back up somehow and get, go to the end of the first round to go do that. So I'm a fan. Listen, I'm a fan. I would do that. I would sign up for that in a heartbeat.
At Auburn, Jody Moncrief said he called him Bo Picks.
Yeah, but well, you know what it was? It was called Road Bow, right? When in Jordan
Yes.
there, he was money, man. He went on the road in Auburn. Oh, it was ugly. But hey, give him credit. And again, he did a nice job in Oregon. Listen, he won. But you know what? I'm going to say one thing about Bo Nix. You know what Bo Nix has, Jen? He has it, right?
Yeah.
He's got that it factor, that wow factor. Like he's got it. You could just tell he's got it. So same thing with JJ McCarthy, like he's got that. You see him running around the field. Like, I don't know. I like it. But Russ, Again, it's going to be interesting. Why didn't they just send them home? Why didn't they just release them? They could have just said the presser, it's over. We're releasing them. You know, um, there's a lot of things, Jen. There's a lot of things because this decision is not, I just don't want Russell Wilson. You are not just going to have this guy run rampant, meaning Sean Payton in your organization, turning it upside down and then saying after 2 years, I'm out. I'm going back to Fox and leaving. They're not, Greg Penner's not going to let him do it.
Kurt, Kenny saying, as badly as the season ended, and I'm even going to say started, right? You guys still made a playoff run. You had a chance at the division before the Patriots game. So, with that said, I know we've talked a lot about Russ and Sean Payton tonight. What are your thoughts just in general and how Sean Payton did in his first year at the helm?
Jen, I think Sean Payton's a great, great coach. Sean Payton was my second choice last year, or my 1A, my 1B, right? My 1A was Jim Harbaugh. But, you're a Super Bowl champion. Again, I know he had Drew Brees and stuff. And yeah, we do have to look at that. But he still came in. He came from a situation that it couldn't be in a worse situation because we had, and I'm not joking around and I'm not knocking anybody, but literally the worst head coach I have ever seen in the NFL. Okay. He was that bad as a head coach in all kinds of aspects. And you know what, Jen? He had us at a 1-5 start and he turned us around 7-6 with a shot to win the division, shot to get in the playoffs. So as a head coach, I think he changed the culture immediately. He started teaching again. And I've said this how many times on this show, you just don't turn around and say, okay, we're going to start to win now. You have to teach people how to win. Especially people who haven't won. It just doesn't work. You just can't turn around and say, we're going to win 10 games next year. It doesn't work. You had Justin Simmons, Cortland Sutton, Josie Jewell. Those guys never won in the NFL. So they're always used to something's going to go wrong. We're going to lose. Okay, we lost one. We're going to lose two. We're going to lose three. And for him to turn that around, it's remarkable. He did a great job with that. But as an offensive play caller, he was not good. Jen, I've sat here and said, it's him and Kyle Shanahan as the two best offensive play callers. Maybe I'll put Andy Reid up there too in the league. And you know what? He did not show that this year. He didn't. And you know what? He didn't work with his talent. A good head coach is going to work with, you're still going to run somewhat of your system, but you're going to work with, we talk at the high school level. You're going to work with what you have. And he did not do that. His offense was not good. So that I'm going to say it was poor. But overall, hey, we still need Sean Payton. Now, would I go get Jim Harbaugh? Yeah, I would. If I could go tomorrow, get Jim Harbaugh over Sean Payton and just pay Sean Payton whatever I owe you, and Jim Harbaugh says, I want to coach the Broncos, I'm doing it because Jim Harbaugh is a better coach than Sean Payton. Jim Harbaugh is going to run the ball and play defense. Jim Harbaugh, so listen, they're both great head coaches. I prefer Harbaugh more. I would do that. But am I happy we have Sean Payton as opposed to Jonathan Gannon or, the Eagle guy? Yeah. Yes.
All right. A good report card for Sean Payton overall. George Payton, it sounds like he's coming back. My question is, should he?
It's tough. I know you're going to talk about the Russ deal. Listen, I am making, what people don't realize is when they say, George Payton, George Payton wanted Russ and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, but so did the Eagles and so did the Commanders at that time. And Russ chose to go to Denver because he had a no trade clause over that. So the Eagles would have made that same deal and Washington would have made that same deal. And any team looking for a quarterback would have made that same deal. Okay. The contract, yeah, that's a little crazy with the whole, if you're on this, you're after March, you get the 2025, that a little. His mistake was Nathaniel Hackett. Okay. That's his mistake. But the one reason why I do like him is I don't want this organization to turn into the Sean Payton show. And I think that's why I do like Payton. I like Penner, like having a kind of a guy where, if you let George Payton go and now Sean Payton brings in one of his cronies from New Orleans, basically Sean Payton's going to run everything. And he could possibly run it. Listen, you hope he runs it to a Super Bowl, but he could also run it to the ground. And it's something like I, as an owner, wouldn't do. So you got to kind of have that middleman. And I think Penner and Payton get along. Again, Payton's still going to make the calls on, okay, I want this guy, I want to trade for this guy. I want to do that, which, listen, I like that. But, you still need a middleman. You can't just have Sean Payton. Basically, it's his building doing everything. So I like him staying.
All right, we had a question up here from Keith that I wanted to get to. And I know it's something you've discussed before, but I think this will be a good little conversation too, maybe before we go. All right, after you've given your report cards to Sean Payton, you gave your report card thoughts on George Payton. What do you think? Well, let's shift to the draft, right? Do you draft for need or do you draft best available? Always a hot topic.
I'm going best available. I really am. I mean, again, I don't believe in the whole, okay, we need a right tackle, right, Jen? We
Mhm.
need a right tackle. There's 3-star right tackles in the draft. They're all drafted. So now I could take the 4th best tackle, who's really a second round grade, or I could take, I'm just going to throw this out there, an absolute stud number 1 receiver that's going to be a star in the NFL. Why take the star receiver?
I'm gonna throw a little kink in that one because like the way you mentioned that scenario, right? You've already got to take like the 4th best, of whatever. But what about you have a need, you have a high pick, you have a specific need. But what's the tight end's name from
Oh,
Georgia?
Brock Bowers.
Yeah, let's say you don't need a tight end, but how do you pass him up?
Well,
Like
we need it, but the thing, we need a tight end.
no, but I'm
You know
saying
what?
I know, but
You
let's
no,
not
no,
talk
listen to
about
me.
that. Let's say
I,
if you don't need that's my question. Like that's not you have other needs. You have higher needs than a tight end need, but do you pass up a prospect like that?
I mean, this is how I look at it, right? They're saying he's basically going to be the next and possibly better than Gronk, right? So just say, I'm going to throw another name out. I don't know. Give me, you know, the 4th best right tackle, right? So here, Garrett Bowles. Okay. I'm just going to throw this out. Garrett Bowles, because basically he was probably like the 3rd tackle when we took him in that draft, right? So if he could become Gronk, Jen, let me ask you this question. If he could be the next Gronk, and I said to you, you know the 2 players, would you trade Gronk for Garrett Bowles?
Like would I make if
Right
I
now, right now, if you're in the NFL and
oh
they're
god,
both in the
yeah.
NFL,
Yeah.
right? So yeah,
Why wouldn't you take that
why
right?
wouldn't
Yeah.
you take him? Why now? I'm not going to take him if I have Travis Kelce at 28 years old, but
Right.
I don't have Travis Kelce at 28 years old. That's the problem. Travis Kelce, hopefully he could get on the field on Saturday and run down the field. But yeah, I'm taking the best. I've always believed in taking the best player. Why not? Why not? If it's a wide receiver, take it. I'm going to take the 4th best tackle. I've never understood that.
All right, so Trevor is agreeing with you. Always take best available. And Alex is asking, right? If you let's say the Broncos were to take Bowers at 12, how do you attack the rest of the draft? Who and where do you draft your quarterback?
Again, I'm keeping Russ. So I'm keeping Russ. I'm giving him Brock Bowers. I'm getting him another wide receiver, whether it's late in the draft or free agency, and I'm going to get him another running back. Listen, like Kenny said, if I can you imagine if you can give me Russell Wilson for a 2nd year with Saquon Barkley in the backfield, Brock Bowers, okay? And I have a 2nd year of Cortland Sutton and Judy and Mims. You're not taking that? With our defense, you're not taking that? You're going to take Jacoby Brissett over that? I
All
mean,
right,
people got to be out of their minds. Well, Jen,
good
let me ask you
follow.
something. Jen, would you?
Let me get Keith's follow-up question in here. If you're saying if you're taking the best available, when or why do you trade up?
I don't understand. Oh, so he's saying, am I saying just stay at 12 no matter what, or do I go and
Well,
trade
I,
up?
I don't think he's necessarily talking about the Broncos this time. He's just saying in general, right? I think, like if you're saying best available, or maybe he is talking about this specific Broncos pick. But yeah, I don't know. But just in general though, like what would how would you
Well, this is
if
what I
you
want to hear. I want to hear this because Dave is saying who is calling for Jacoby Brissett. I need people's plans. I can't just hear get rid of Russ and give me who? Give me a. I want a guy. I want a guy. That's what I want. I want a guy. Mine, Russ, quarterback, JJ McCarthy. That's what I want. That's my guy. I don't want to hear Jacoby Brissett, Bo Nix, Jalen Daniels, Caleb Williams. I want a guy. You got one guy. You get one. One guy, not 9. One. Brissett, Garoppolo, Tyrod Taylor, Carson Strong, Kenny Pickett, Teddy Bridgewater. You got one guy. Look, Stidham and Stidham. No. You saw it. You saw it. Here. Kenny. You saw Stidham. You saw Stidham. You saw Stidham. You saw it. You're going to win 4 games. Stop. I don't even want Stidham on the roster. I don't want him on the backup as a backup. I saw enough. He stinks. We will win 4 games with Jared Stidham. 4. If 4. You're not walking into Kansas City with Jared Stidham. Stop it. If you want Jalen Daniels, go get Jalen Daniels and play him from day one. Give it all up for him. Give it all up. But don't give me the garbage of Jared Stidham. That is over. It's over. You saw it. He stinks.
I think you actually
I don't, hold on. These are names I don't want to hear. Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Teddy Bridgewater, Trevor Siemian, Gardner Minshew. I'm just going some Marcus Mariota, Carson Strong, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky. Those guys stink. They're not NFL starters. They're not. Seriously, give me Drew Lock. Give it to me. Here's a shot with Drew Lock. Those other guys stink. You don't play backups as starters. I don't know where these people are getting this from. Let's get backups and put them as a starter. It's asinine. It does not work. You are a backup because this is your job. You hold the clipboard. You have the headset. You talk to the quarterback. You show him the iPad. And God forbid he gets hurt. Then you go in and you pray that the quarterback comes back because that guy stinks. That's what a backup is. That's it. These people who think this backup's going to win. I don't know what they're watching. Didn't they watch Jared Stidham? I watched it for 2 weeks. He was atrocious. And I like him. I'm an Auburn fan. He's atrocious. He's not an NFL quarterback. Seriously. I mean, Jen, you watched it. What did you think of the performance? In all seriousness, Jen, 17 weeks of that next week. How do you think next year, how would that go?
Listen, I don't think it'll go well. In all fairness, I don't think that the last 2 weeks of the season like that is a fair test for him. I don't. But I don't think that he has it. Yeah, I don't. I don't think he has it.
He
What are we going to
doesn't.
do? Another? Yeah.
You can't.
You know
Here's the
what?
thing.
You don't have the time to waste to
Right.
see. Like, yeah. You
Right.
don't
You're
have,
not
and
the
you,
Arizona Cardinals. You don't have, you're not the Panthers where just throw it away and win 2 games. That's not who the Broncos are. That's not what Greg Penner's about. He told you yesterday. He flat out said it. I expect more wins next year. It's not happening. It's not happening with those other guys. So throw them out. Cross them off. Your options are Russell Wilson, draft a quarterback and play him from day one. Somehow hope Tom Brady comes out of retirement and it's the Miami Dolphins collection 2 years later. Or if you could get Kirk Cousins. Those are your options. That's it. That's it. That's the only 4 ways you're winning more games than last year. So other than that, it's not going to happen. So stop throwing those names out. Penner told you yesterday, more wins than last year. Stidham will not be the quarterback. That's it.
All right. Well, I think you actually hit the camera with one of those papers that you threw.
That was nice. I got a little wired up on that.
You did. That's a great note to end on. That's a great note to end on. You had everybody a little fired up. The comments are firing away. It's all good. Oh, you know what? There might be people with different opinions, but it's all people who are passionate about their team.
What? It is, but we got to be realistic. We're not the Panthers.
Well, Kurt, with all due respect, you know what? The people who have an opinion different than yours think they're also being realistic.
Of course. What I'm saying is you're not playing with, it shows you with this ownership, right? And it's why I love this Walton Penner group. They showed you they're not playing around. They're not going to go get this little Keith's comment's the best one. Get this comment, we're not going to get, we're going to pay a little rinky dinky coach and, they're going to spend, but they're going to spend because
they're going big. They're going big.
They're going big. And that's what you got to love as an owner. You got to love, as a fan with owners like that, you got to love it because, they paid Sean Payton $18 million. And flat out said yesterday, I was in school cheering.
Oh, the first claps of the evening.
I expect more wins next year. That statement cuts all those other garbage guys out. It eliminates it. The eliminator, the elimination. Stidham got eliminated from that. Brissett got eliminated. Garoppolo got eliminated. Tyrod Taylor, all that stuff got eliminated when he said that. So it's Russ. It's a rookie quarterback from day one. Brady, Kirk Cousins. I mean, I don't know who else. You're not going to trade for Kyler Murray, which I wouldn't trade for. Who are you going to trade for? Who's going to be a disgruntled quarterback? You're not going to trade for Justin Herbert. You're not going to trade for Joe Burrow. So those are your 4 options. If you're going to do what Penner wants, which is more wins, that's it. It's Russ, a rookie from day. I'm not against the rookie from day one, Jen. I'm not. But from day one, the rookie plays. You draft him, he plays. That's it. Just like CJ Stroud, we play him. And you want it to be Daniels. You want it to be Drake May. You want it to be Caleb. Give it all up. I'm all in. Give it up. Give it up. Again, this year's 1. This year's 3. Next year's 1. 26 is 1. I'm for it. Do it. Do it. And from day one, Jen, you get Caleb Williams. Let's go. That's our show. Did it with Houston, right? Didn't Houston do it? Don't the Jaguars do it? Right? It worked, right? It works. But you got to give to get. You're not going to get number 12. Oh, I'm going to get Michael Penix and I'm going to get no. Get Michael Penix off. That's not going to work. You saw Michael Penix. Listen, tough guy, great guy. Every time he drops back, you think he's going to tear his ACL. You can't deal with that. So that's it. So again, to recap real quick, something's going on because you had this half-hour meeting. You should have just sent Russ home, said yesterday, Russ ain't going to quarterback the team. Russ is, whatever. I think Sean Payton realizes, listen, I'm under pressure now, man. I'm I'm really, really under pressure right now. So, I gotta win. So I think his best show is, his best combination might be Sean Payton with Russell Wilson.
All right. How about some closing? Are those your closing thoughts, or do you have?
No, my closing thoughts are just listen. We're gonna do. And you know, I was telling Kenny like I'm continuing. You know, the season's over. I'm gonna continue this Bronco show. I love doing this Bronco show. You know, it's I love this. The audience is awesome. Everybody's awesome. Dave got my blood pressure. Seriously, if I took a test right now, it'd probably be beep beep beep. Looking on my smartwatch on, but you know, yeah, it is about love, the passion, and stuff like that. But you know, we got to be realistic too. We got to be realistic. You know, we all want to win. Um, we all want to win, but you know, we got to be realistic. It's not fantasy land, and you know, I'm gonna put in Jacoby Brissett, and that we don't have time for that. We don't have time. The owner don't have time. The head coach don't have time. This roster doesn't have time. Those days are over. We're not the Cardinals. We're not the Panthers. We don't go 2-15. We don't do that. We're the Broncos. That's not the organization that Pat Bowlen built, and the Penners and Waltons did. So, other than that, listen, let's see what happens. Every day there's going to be news. Anything comes, we'll break the news, Jen. I want to thank you. I want to thank the audience. The audience was unbelievably awesome tonight. Listen, that's what makes a great show, right? I mean, it makes it makes a great show. But I mean, if anybody, I'll just leave with this, Jen. If anybody says they want Jared Stidham, they need glasses, man. I mean, I'm not like trying to be funny. It's you saw it. You saw it for 2 times. That's enough. Sometimes you don't have to go and say, you know, I want to go on a, you know, we're married, Jen, so we don't have to say this, but you know, you don't say, you know, I went on 2 dates. I need to see 17 of them. I mean, stupid, right? I bought two, you know, 2 Chevys and both of them broke down. I don't want to buy a third. Like, you see it, it don't work. Get the hell out and go next. We saw the 2. It didn't work. It's not going to work next. But other than that, great show, Jen. I want to thank you for doing all my the reading the comments, because I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't read the comments tonight. It would just be off the charts. But let's go.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for all the comments and interaction. And have a good night.
See you guys next Wednesday.